We may be able to catch them all, but the question today is, can we plant them all? My name is Elizabeth Clyde. This is Systematic Ecology, and I am here with my co-host. It's a gals party. I think this is
Mhm.
our first time doing an episode just the two of us. Barb, how are you doing today?
I am doing great. Tired, but great.
Yes, I feel you on the tired. I don't know what is up with this season, but I just want all of the sleep. What have you been geeking out on lately?
Well, we're still going through One Piece. I'm still playing Final Fantasy. Great things, great things.
Is it 14?
I'm playing the Final Fantasy VII remake right now.
Got it,
When
got
I
it.
when I get a chance to be on the PlayStation, the kiddos have overwhelmed the PS5 right now. So,
Gotcha. Yeah, I've also been just geeking out a little bit on my Call of Duty. So lots of
okay.
PlayStations. My husband, he just got, I haven't played it yet, but he just got the grass game, like the mowing simulator. So I just watch him mow
Oh,
some
that's
grass. It's
interesting.
very satisfying just watching. So I'm sure I'm going to geek out on that very soon.
It reminds me of like the old like the computer games you'd play like in middle school. Where like they had the simulators of the different there was a mow and grass one. I remember playing that. It's
Yeah,
really fun.
yeah. So and they have like a pressure washing one. It's
Hmm.
Yeah, we'll see how this goes. I'm sure I'm gonna go down a dark hole or a rabbit trail with it. So before we get into the episode, I just want to thank one of our supporters. Today we are going to be thanking Austin Nance. So thank you so much for being a Patreon supporter and supporting the show financially. We could not do it without you. And if you guys would like to become a Patreon or if you want to rate and review, it just really helps us out. So you can review us or rate us on Podchaser or any of your platform that you prefer. But here we go. I'm so excited because this is how Barb and I kind of like got geeked out together. We are going to talk about Pokemon. Um, Specifically Arbor Day Pokemon, which is just tree Pokemon. But before that, Barb, do you know anything about Arbor Day? That's such an obscure holiday.
Arbor Day is basically about the celebration of planting trees. So it's like the idea of, we've cut down so many trees, it's time to plant new life, plant trees. And also, I mean, we breathe oxygen. So trees do create oxygen for us to breathe. So they are very important.
You knew more than me. I knew, I was like, Arbor Day, that's trees. Got it. And I
Mhm.
celebrated hardcore Arbor Day, I think it was 2 years ago, because I bought two its cousins to the cherry blossom trees to plant in my
Mm,
backyard. And so I remember 2 years ago, I'm like, yeah, Arbor Day, planting trees.
planting trees.
But then honestly, I forgot about that until just now, preparing for this episode. I'm like, oh, trees. And we just had Earth Day. So I feel like we're really loving the planet this week.
Mhm.
Go us. So, for guys, just a little background history. If you care, I care now, but I didn't before. But if you were just wondering, like, what state created Arbor Day? Well, it was a Nebraska newspaper editor and resident of Nebraska City. His name was J. Sterling Morton. He was just enthusiastic for trees, and he advocated strongly for trees, as in and encouraged individuals and groups to plant them. So once he became secretary of the Nebraska Territory, he further spread his message of the value of trees. And on January 4th, 1872, Morton first proposed a tree planting holiday to be called Arbor Day.
Wow.
Like, just a man with a dream of trees.
I mean, he achieved his dream too.
He
So,
sure did. Like, what? If I'm sure that was just such an obscure thing to think about because they weren't cutting down trees back then like we are now.
right. And it's like they probably weren't aware of all the science behind it either. Like
Nope.
now we know that the trees produce oxygen for us to breathe in. The more you cut down, the less oxygen we have. So, I mean, just to be able to care about plant life in that manner, that's really impressive.
Well, that and even like with the ecosystems of tree providing
True.
shades and shelters and habitats for all these animals and how the
Mhm.
root system and everything just like fertilizes each other, like the checks and balances of nature. Trees are so important. That was one of the when we planted our trees a couple years ago, we got them for cheap with the electric company was selling them. Like kind of doing like a
Hmm,
promotion, because when you plant trees kind of around your house, it shades your house, so it will actually make your light bill
true.
lower because it's not working as hard with the shade provided by the trees.
Yeah,
So
I mean, that does make sense.
trees are great. I love trees. I mean, I wouldn't call myself a tree hugger, but I respect a tree.
I do too. You know, we have a really well, what's left of a really pretty Japanese maple out front. We had a really bad windstorm a couple of weeks ago, months ago now, I guess, and half of it fell over into our driveway.
That is
It was
really
also, it
sad.
was really sad.
I love a good Japanese maple, just
Mm-hmm.
because solely because Japanese is in the name, and they are very pretty.
Of course, they're so pretty.
But now today, Arbor Day, just by one man, Arbor Day is celebrated in all 50 states. The most common date for the state is observed in the last Friday. So today, as you guys watch this episode, if you are watching it as it premieres, or if you're watching it in the future, now you know it's usually the last Friday in April. But some states, they do change their Arbor Day to like the best time to plant their trees. So depending
Mm-hmm.
on their weather. But yeah, the more you know. Now, in case you guys go on Jeopardy and Arbor Day is a question, you're covered. You're good to go. But this is what I wish existed. We're gonna talk about Pokemon now,
Mm-hmm.
specifically favorite tree Pokemon. And Barb and I, we did not discuss this with each other. There's so many of them.
Yeah, I'm excited. I mean,
So many. I feel like we can just talk like back and forth. But before we get into that, I just want to talk about. Did you know this? But I didn't know this until I was an adult, that all of the professors in Pokemon
they're
are
named after
trees.
trees.
They're named after trees. Professor Oak, Professor Elm, all the other, I can't think of any other tree names right now, but those are the
Oh,
two professors I
oh,
can
there's
think of.
Professor Birch.
Yep,
Professor Birch.
all of them.
Now I'm
Like,
trying to remember the other ones.
do you know why they were named after trees or what
I
the thought
don't
process?
know.
Let's Google it. Why was
Like I
Professor
noticed that, but I don't know the backstory behind it.
It was like in my adult life, after watching Pokemon over and over and over again,
Hmm.
that I learned this, and I didn't even discover it for myself. Someone said it. So it says the symbolic significance. Wow, cannot speak. So it is a significance of the tree inspiring each profession name sheds light on the series themes and its conflicts. So maybe Professor Oak was like the foundation and the strong, like
Okay,
building
that
of the
makes
Pokemon. I
sense.
mean, I feel like this could be an episode all in its
All on its
own.
own, yeah.
Yeah, the Professor eras of Pokemon.
I'm down for that.
Yeah, I mean, we could. We might. Maybe I should write like a thesis paper on the
The
professors and Pokemon. Let's
history
wait.
of the professors, yeah.
I feel like this could really be a thesis right now. So there you go. More trees, Barb. I have to know. I'm gonna. I feel like my one of my three is super, super, super obvious, but there's one little obscure guy that I'm really excited about. So he's gonna go last. But who is your first Pokemon up to battle for
Okay, well,
tree
my
type?
first one, my number three is one of the more obvious ones. I would have to go with Torterra
Oh, okay. That was not on
because
my list.
oh
Describe
really?
yeah, describe Torterra and what they do for the people who cannot visualize who Torterra is.
Okay, so if anybody plays the games, Torterra is the final evolution of one of the starters, Turtwig. So
Mm-hmm.
Torterra is like a giant turtle, but it has trees growing out of the back of the shell. And you actually see enormous versions of them in Detective Pikachu, the live action movie. So one of the action scenes is them sliding down the backs of enormously huge Torterras.
Okay. That's good. I was very curious because my husband mentioned he's like, well, Venusaur technically has a tree on its back. But I'm like, I'm going very
Technically.
So, but I'm like,
Technically, he does.
but I was just like, no, no, we're not doing Venusaur. That wasn't one of my top. But I was wondering how like loose we were gonna go with this. The first one for me that came to mind, and it could be one of your other two because I feel like this is
Mm-hmm.
obvious. Pseudo Wudo.
See, I was thinking of Sudowoodo because he's the first actual tree, based off of a tree you
Yes.
meet in like any of the games. Because
Yes.
he's blocking one of the paths. You can't get him around him until you figure that out.
Yes. And that's why I'm like, he's so obvious. That's why I wanted to go ahead and
Mm-hmm.
just bring him out into the forefront. Was he one of your three?
He's not, but I chose something that was related to Sudowoodo.
Ooh, okay, okay. So if you guys don't know, Sudowoodo, some people want to be like, is it grass? Is it like rock? He's just kind of like he was a little mysterious at the beginning. But just I don't really like I can't think of any of his attacks right now. All I could think of was how he just like he wobbles and
He
you
would
know
wiggle, yes.
he wiggles and he kind of goes Sudowoodo.
I
He made
remember
me
that,
laugh.
yes.
He's so
I
funny.
I think, if I'm remembering correctly, I think he's a steel type now,
Is he a
like
steel
further
type
along in
now?
the series. Yeah, I think so. I'm not sure. I think he might be like a rock steel type
All I
when
can
they started
remember
adding yeah, they started adding
he
like the second types.
because he hated water, and so that just
Mm-hmm.
confused everyone because if he's a tree, you would think grass, but we knew he wasn't grass because grass
Mm-hmm.
loves water. And so, but yeah, Sudowoodo, so fun. I just love him so much. But
So cute.
so cute. And then even like because you meet Sudowoodo before you meet his like devolved form, and so that was also technically like a little tree too. Like a little sprout, if you will. Okay, who's your third choice?
Well, that actually goes straight into my second choice, which is Bonsley, which is the baby
Okay.
Sudowoodo.
Yay! Look at us.
Yay! So he's basically like a little tiny bonsai plant, but he's got like the little sprouts of Sudowoodo on him. So he's like this
Mhm.
little tiny tree that runs around, and he's got little sprigs of green on him. He's just so cute.
He is really cute. All right. Guys, I'm trying to think. Do anyone we know owns one? Because the and Brock actually had a Sudowoodo at one point, but I
At
don't
one
think
point, yeah.
yeah. I can't think.
Nobody comes to mind, I don't think, for
Mm.
Bonsley.
He was just kind of like in the background whenever they would be in the forest and he would kind of run
Mm-hmm.
around with
That's
people.
why
But
I loved him so much. He was just so cute.
and he has like no arms, so he's so I should have had pictures for all the audience, but this is us very badly describing them. So there you go.
Oh, if I
My
had a thought about it, I could have found Pokemon cards to go with it. Hold them up.
uh it's okay. Shoulda, coulda, woulda. Shoulda,
Exactly.
pseudo woulda if you would. Coulda, shoulda, shoulda, woulda. I'm just kidding. That was very, very bad. But my other one is kind of a newer Pokemon, and usually I'm like a very like first gen, second gen type Pokemon.
Mm-hmm. Me too.
But this one, I had to do it because I'm a little bit of a Bible nerd, and olive trees are mentioned quite a lot.
Oh, I think I know who you're talking about. Mm-hmm.
Yep, I can never say it right because I always want to say like Arbolivia, or they say it quicker, but I can't
It's
say it quicker.
Arboliva, I think.
Arboliv Yeah, but
Arboliva.
I wanna say it how I see it. So I
Yeah,
always want
exactly.
and it looks like and I have a niece named Olivia, so I'm like, "Oh, that looks like Olivia," but it's Arbovola. But in my head, I say Arbolivia, even though I know it's wrong.
I feel like I do it too because I'm like, I would stare at the name trying to sound it
Mhm.
out, but it comes out Arbolivia no matter how many times I say
Right.
it.
And so I haven't seen like this gen too much. It doesn't get a lot of screen time, does it? This
Hmm.
Pokemon it does get a lot?
Oh no, I was just saying I
Oh,
haven't really seen it too much, but I have seen because I deal with the Pokemon cards a lot. I
right.
have seen some really unique artwork when it comes to those cards.
Okay. And this is a third evolution. So if you go to
Mhm.
like the very first one, Smoliv, which is
And then
it's
Olive, yeah, it's
yeah,
so
but Smoliv is just like a little olive and it's probably the cutest thing ever. So it's like
Mhm.
a little baby olive and then you have Dolive, which looks like a little toddler if you
It's like
will with
the
like
yeah.
the two olive space bun. And now you have this full-grown woman of an olive tree that's just elegant and majestic.
Majestic, yeah. She's very pretty.
So pretty. And I just, I'm like, wow. I feel like if Pokemon was in the Bible, she would definitely be in the Bible.
I feel
Like,
that, yeah.
right? Like olive trees,
Well, because
olive
Olive
crest,
is yeah, it's a
very
representation. Yeah.
mhm, mhm. So there you go. I wanted her to be like my number one, but I love my third choice because I feel like it's so obscure and I absolutely am obsessed with this little Pokemon. And I feel like you're just gonna be like, wow, didn't think of this. And I want to impress you because you're the Pokemon expert of the group.
Okay.
Yes. So what is your third choice of top three tree Pokemon?
Alright, so mine is just because well, I wouldn't call him fluffy, but
Fluffy.
he's big and snowy. So I love Obama Snow. It's just so
Gotcha.
big, and he grows berries that you can eat too.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So it's like
Obama's
you get a
and
Pokemon and a snack. So
yeah, and he doesn't like when I first saw him, I wouldn't think he was a tree because he looks more like Abominable Snowman, but I think isn't he supposed to be like almost like a pine tree or something like that?
he's supposed to be like a conifer tree, which is like the Christmas trees.
Got it, got
So
it.
he's supposed to be like covered in snow, like Obama Snow, but he's a snow covered tree that grows berries.
As you should. I mean, if a Pokemon can feed me, that's just the way to
Right.
go.
There are a lot of Pokemon that have that like unique ability, like Miltank, drink the milk. But it's like if they have that specific ability, why not harvest their berries for like everybody else?
Mhm, mhm. And then so if I was ever a Pokemon trainer, I wouldn't wanna be like a Pokemon trainer where I wanna fight all of the gym battles or anything like that. I wanna be like a Pokemon not even a researcher, but kinda like, what can I make to sell? To get other because I'm just like such an entrepreneur. So I would be like, all right, let's
Right.
harvest these berries. Let's make little treats. Like maybe I could see myself opening up like a little spa, something like that. Like what's that Pokemon concierge like on Netflix right now? I was like, I could easily have done that if I was a
True,
Pokemon.
yeah, and I feel like, if they grow the berries, they're eventually gonna fall off anyway. Like, if you don't pick them, do they become, like well, I don't
I
wanna
feel
say,
like
like, infected or anything, but, like, would it hurt the Obama snow if you don't pick the berries? So why not?
mhm, that's true. It will probably just like kind of like fall off like an apple would naturally fall off.
That that's what I feel like, but it's like you never know. Do you take care of your Pokemon, you know?
I would. I would. So this my third Pokemon, it's not really a tree. I'm cheating a little bit. But
Okay.
I felt like it needed to be here. And it's Pineco, the pine cone
The
Pokemon.
pine cone?
The
Well,
pine cone.
it's
He's
it's a
technically
product of a tree.
yeah, he's technically in the bug family, but I just love him so much. I'm having him honorary a part of Arbor Day because I felt like he should not have gotten forgotten.
Yeah, it's funny because like every like card or picture I see of Pineco, he's so angry all the time.
Yeah, I mean, that's how I feel inside a lot. And then he just ex and then he just explodes.
Exactly, the
And af
self-destruct.
right, and then after he's explodes, he usually smiles afterwards. And I'm
He
like,
feels better, yeah. It's the
"Yes," and I'm
same
like,
as Voltorb and Electrode, right? This is
"Mhm,
just the
mhm."
Pinecone version.
Right, and I just relate to him so much. I'm like, "Yes, I would like to explode," and then I too feel better.
I feel like a mom, I feel like that too.
Yeah. So, I
So it's
mean,
like
this and even though he's technically a bug Pokemon, I thought of him because we were talking about with Arbor Day, you plant trees, and a lot of times
true.
you
And then
gotta come from a seed.
the pine cones have seeds in them. That's very
Mhm.
true.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I was like Pinecone, and he's just I loved him. He's every trainer had their little like headache Pokemon. You know, Misty had Psyduck,
Psyduck. Yeah.
Brock had Pineco. Um, really, Pikachu was Ash's problem one at first. If you think about it, poor guy kept on getting electrocuted. But you just you gotta keep it spicy. Like
That's what he said. Yeah.
if all your Pokemon just was so great,
Obedient.
yeah, and
Yeah.
obedient, there's no humor. It's like all right, there's no growth. Yeah, so Pinecone, he's a bug Pokemon technically, but he doesn't evolve into anything, does he? I can't
I
remember.
don't think so. I don't think they have an evolution for him yet.
I think you have to
Yet.
use like
That's
a
the keyword.
stone or something, right? Because with the quick, I just Googled it because I don't know why I didn't Google this before the show because that didn't make sense to Google it before the show. But it says Pineco can go into Forestress, with the one with the shell, with the red Pokemon with the shell.
Okay, yeah, the shell Pokemon.
Hmm. I don't like it. I liked
Which is
them better
odd
when he
because when
didn't.
you think of Forrestress, that's more of like a clam Pokemon.
But it still says bug and steel. I don't know. I feel like
Weird.
sometimes it's like, these Pokemon evolutions, they just got crazy.
Yeah, especially some of the newer ones like Trubbish and Alchemy and like some of the newer ones.
Dude, some of these new ones are just robots. They're not Pokemon.
Klefki, the keys.
Mhm. Mhm.
Um, all right, Gimme Gold was kind of cool actually. The treasure chest.
Mhm. But I'm just kind of like I'm like wow. Like it went from sometimes and granted like I still love Pokemon, but this is why I got out of watching the later generations. It went from something that could be a part of the background and a part of your daily life to almost like a little too sci-fi,
Yeah, because
too fantasy, if you will.
I feel like that too, where it's like they're trying too hard to make everyday objects into Pokemon,
Look
not
at this
just like
toaster. That is a Pokemon.
well they have like Rotom, which is turned into like the Pokedex and stuff, but um just like things that you wouldn't think that would be Pokemon, they've now turned into Pokemon, like food. I
Yeah.
mean, I understand like an animal that could give you like a product that you could turn into food, but not actually food itself. You know, like the ice cube, which is a penguin with an ice cube head.
Yeah.
That one kind of not so much for me.
I really wish they would have made like granted it would be all done before and this would just be for the older generation and it probably wouldn't be
Mhm.
well, so it's good it's ended. But almost like if Ash had a kid and then and Ash became a gym leader and then the kid had to go and then Brock would be the professor and you know what I mean? Like see everyone live out their dreams and then we watch the kid.
I can see that.
Right?
Yeah.
Let me write the Pokemon the sequel. Let me do it. I'll be so great. But we'll see. We'll see how that goes. This Pokemon's officially done, right? Have they aired Ash's final episodes? Do you know?
I don't know. That's a good question because I know they started airing the new Pokemon. Pokemon, I'm not sure what it's called, but I think there's like a new series on it's either Hulu or Netflix or something. But
Interesting. We need to get younger hosts so they can talk about the new Pokemon.
I
Because I will not be watching it unless I have a kid. If I have a kid, I'm gonna be
mean, I keep
watching
up
it.
with the cards, but I don't keep up with the anime as much. Which actually, there's a new set coming out tomorrow.
New Pokemon cards, you say?
Mhm. Yep, Japanese. It's called Mask of Change.
That
That's what
is
the set is called.
exciting. Uh, I just don't love it. I miss Ash. I'm just looking at photos of the new series. It's just
The new anime, yeah.
hashtag not my Pokemon. Yeah, I love all Pokemon. Well, getting back on topic, we talked about our top 3 tree Pokemon. Did you have any honorable mentions that may not have made the cut? You would just like to give a shout out real quick.
I was thinking about one that technically wasn't a tree, but was kind of like grass type, sort of. I was thinking about Shiftry. But
Okay.
because he basically to me looks like a mixture of a monkey and a kabuki artist, which is a Japanese performer because
Right,
like
right,
the
right.
shoes he's wearing. But he's
Mhm.
got the leaf. I guess they're like fingers or
Mhm.
fans or something he has.
Mm,
That just reminded me of like a Guardian of the Forest esque type thing.
right. Well, this one's more tree than pineco, but I just really wanted to throw pineco should have been my honorable mention. But I almost picked executor, specifically the Aloha
Oh yeah,
ones with the
with
big
a really
old long.
tall,
Yep.
tall neck.
Yes, I'm like that's just a palm tree chilling out up there, and I love him so much. He just looks like confused. Like I just love how like the different faces. Like one looks angry, one looks sleepy. It's just like seven dwarfs in a Pokemon.
All in one, you know?
Like all of the emotions in one, which is literally how I compute. I process all of them at the same time, and I'm just confused.
I feel like I would be too.
I mean, that's why isn't like I think he's like grass and psychic, if I'm not mistaken, right?
I think
Which
so, yeah.
makes sense. That's why he's confused. He can use confusion.
On himself, yeah.
Oh yeah, they just yeah. That's how I just vibe with these Pokemons on a spiritual level.
Hmm.
Awesome. Well, any other things you would like to add about Arbor Day, about Pokemon, about any new Pokemon cards?
Um, Not that I can think of. I know there's a new English set that's coming out very, very soon.
That's fun.
Um, it's the English version of good lord, no, I can't remember the name. But the English version is called Twilight Masquerade. The name is so pretty.
That's so
And it
fun.
has a beautiful full art, which is like the I don't have any examples around, do I? Um, but instead of like the normal type Pokemon card, the art goes throughout the whole entire card. It has an
Mm.
EV card that's so cute. It has like 10 different EVs on it.
So your goal is to collect that EV card. That's your like
I have
mission.
found that EV card
Oh, you already found it.
for a customer. Yeah, it was in the Japanese set that we had. It was maybe the third pack I opened, and there it was. Just the
That's
card everyone's
beautiful.
looking for is the EV.
I can't wait. We have to do an episode when we finally get together in person, and I have about a few thousand Pokemon cards. Some of them are very rare, and Barbara's gonna help be my bookie for them. She's gonna help,
Mm-hmm.
brokerage them or however you say, and help me pay off my debt. So
Yep.
appreciate
We're
you,
gonna try to
Barb.
get them slabbed, to get them sold for you.
Yes, paying off debt one Pokemon card at a time. I love it. Well, as we wrap up, tell me, what do you recommend? Obviously, we both recommend Pokemon, the
Pokemon, of
OG
course.
Pokemon.
Yeah, I feel like I'm stuck in the OGs too.
Gotta be OG.
I mean, like my top three are OGs. So well, let me see. What else have I been doing? Like I said, we've been going through One Piece. I've been playing my game. I've really been wanting to play Kingdom Hearts again ever since we did our Kingdom Hearts Easter episode.
I've
Where
never
there's
played Kingdom Hearts.
You should. It's a good mixture between Square Enix, the Japanese game developer, and then Disney. So it's like a
Can
good
I play?
mixture between the two.
Can I play with people online? I like online games.
There are some phone games that they've developed too for it.
Interesting. I'll think about it. I have
I
so much
don't
on my plate.
know. I don't
I
know if
can't.
they've released any PC versions though. I know for I want to say the third one and some of the remakes they have released it on Xbox, but I don't know if they've done PC versions.
Okay. Well, I would say I would look into that, but I would be lying, so I will not be looking into that.
I
But
mean,
it is on my I will play Kingdom Hearts before I die, and that is my commitment to you and
one
to
day. I'm
systematic
still waiting for
galaxy.
updates on the fourth one. They're dangling it like in front of our faces and then they take it away.
Yeah, we'll see. Maybe like I don't know. I just love RPGs or MMORPGs to be specific,
Mhm.
and playing online with people. It just makes me feel less alone. But
There was one that my husband and I played together really before he got busy with his new job. It was a little anime-esque MMORPG.
Ooh,
It's called Fiesta Online.
I've heard of it. I've heard of it.
It's so cute. I love it just because it's like you're playing as a chibi almost.
I love a good chibi.
I know.
So, speaking of a little chibi, I feel like a little chibi when I'm gonna say my recommendation. It's called it's a new anime I started. It's romance, of course. It's called A Condition Called Love. And it's just about
Okay.
this dude looking for a soulmate. And so
Oh.
any relationship he gets into, he's kind of heavy, but he just wants to put all of himself into a relationship. And of course, he's like a super, super attractive guy. So girl starts to date him looking for a good time or, something fun. And they didn't expect him to be so devoted. And so
Mhm.
they dump him. And then he gets like a bad reputation. So of course the nerdy girl is
Oh.
going to find out his real self. It's on Crunchyroll. And I had to I'm just skipped ahead to the manga. So it's always a good time. A Condition Called Love. Watch it.
Condition called love. I might have to watch that.
Dude, it will make you swoon and then we can talk about it the next time we hang out online.
Yeah.
Do it. Just text me as you watch it. It's very sweet.
Yeah, because we actually have Crunchyroll.
Yes, they have it now, guys. Just letting you know, if you are a premium, this is not sponsored, but Crunchyroll, if you want to sponsor us, you can and pay for my subscription. They have premium Crunchyroll. You can have profiles now. I don't know if it's for the lower tier ones, but now that my husband, he will not mess up my algorithm or what I'm watching. So I'm happy as a clam. Well, awesome, guys. Thank you so much for listening to our special Arbor Day episode. Once again, thank you, Austin, for being a supporter. If you like this episode, let us know what else you would want to hear. We are for you, and we want to talk about what you want us to talk about. Once again, thank you so much for listening. Remember, we are all a chosen people, a geekdom of priest.
Mhm.